Okay, we are factoring trinomials. This is day 2. Yes, we started this, so we're going to finish this. But first, what I want to do is write a few instructions on the next page in your journal. So, factor trinomials. Step 1, always divide out GCF first if A is not 1. And what we're factoring is AX squared plus BX plus C. So this is a trinomial because it has 3 terms. We're using X box. So we have an X. On the top, we're going to put AC. On the bottom, we're going to put B. And we're going to find the magic numbers. So the magic numbers go out here. AC is going to be your product. So this is the multiply. And B is the sum. So that's your addition. That's a little multiply sign, or you can do the dot. So we have to find those magic numbers. To find the magic numbers in the calculator, remember we do y equals the product, or AC, divided by x, and we look at the table. So we are going to find those magic numbers. The magic numbers that give us a product of AC, which means multiply to get AC, but add to get B. So we use the X to find our magic numbers. Then we use the box, just like when we multiplied binomials. We use the box to multiply rows and columns. We're going to do the same thing. So right after you draw the box, go ahead and you're going to put the AX squared in the top left, whatever AX squared is. And the bottom left is going to be C. Bottom right, C, yes. And then you'll put your magic numbers with X in the diagonals, because remember, these add up to get BX. And from there, we do the GCF. We factor GCFs on row and column. Whatever they have in common here in this column, you're going to factor it out and put it outside. Whatever they have in common on this column, you're going to factor out and put it right here. Same thing here, factor the row, factor the row. And your factors are going to be written like this. These are your factors, and they're going to be written as binomials. And so these are the steps for us. So we're going to go through this on the examples on the green paper. So there are quite a few steps, but as long as you follow the steps, you will be able to do it. So just stay with me as we do the examples together. Okay, so we have this. We're going to go ahead and do this example right here. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 12. If you've already done this, then we're going to go ahead and go over it again so you can review it. So we're going to look back at these steps. So it says identify A, B, and C. So on this, A is the number in front of x squared. So right here, there's nothing there, so we're just going to put it as a 1. B is the number in front of X, so that's a 7. And C is the constant, which this one is 12. Okay, so that's step 1, done. Step 2, put AC on the top and B on the bottom of the X. On the top, it's A times C. So A times C. So 1 is A, 12 is C. So 1 times 12 is 12. And then B goes on the bottom. B is 7. So what we're asked to find right now is factors of AC to give you a sum of B. So we need these magic numbers. So remember, we can put it into Y equals 12 divided by X. Hit second table. And we're looking for two numbers that multiply to get 12, but add to get 7. 3 and 4, yep. So those are our magic numbers. So any set X and Y you can use. You're just looking for the one that gives you the 7. So it's 3 and 4. All right, we're done with step 3. Step 4 says complete the box. AX squared on top left. AX squared is just, on this case, it's just X squared. And then it says bottom right is C. The bottom right is 12. Yep, you put your 3 and 4x here. So remember how we have these on our notes over here? The 3 and 4x, because those are our magic numbers. And these add up to equal 7, right? 3x plus 4x gives us 7x. You don't have to circle them, but you can just, look at that. So the last step is factoring the rows and columns. So I'm going to do columns first. So look at these numbers in the columns, x squared and 3x. We want to factor out the GCF. So the GCF is what they have in common. The only thing they have in common is x. That's it. 4, 6, and 12. They both don't have x, so x is not the GCF. So we look at 4 and 12. Remember, we can still do GCF in our calculator. You go to math, over to number, go to GCD, and we're looking at 4 and 12. And it's 4, which makes sense because 4 will divide 4, and 12 can be divided by 4. Now we're going to factor the rows. So x squared and 4x. They both have x's, so it's just x. And then 3x and 12. What do 3 and 12 have in common? 3. Because 3 times 1, or 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. So see how we're going backwards to build what's on the outside of here? Yep. And there's no operation between here, so we're going to do plus. This is our factor form. X plus 4 times x plus 3. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you can write it over here if you want. All right, we're going to do this one on here because I just don't think there's enough room, okay? So go ahead and write this down. 2x squared plus 9x plus 4. So let's follow the steps. Step 1, identify A, B, and C. If you just want to put A B and C over the top of them, you can. Or if you want to write A equals 2, B equals 9, C equals 4, totally fine. Now do our X. On the top of X is A times C. So look at A and C. 2 times 4 is 8. B goes on the bottom. So we're looking for factors of 8 that add to get 9. So if you want to put it in the calculator, 8 divided by X, put it in with me. That way you're practicing all of these steps. So then once we put in 8 divided by X, second graph for the table, it's only positive. Yeah, we're looking for the ones that add to get 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. That's it. So 1 and 8 are your factors, your magic numbers. Okay, now we're going to do our box. So we're undoing the box method that we did when we reviewed this. We're undoing it. We're trying to find what goes on the outside, like this. So in the top left, it says ax squared. So that would be this, ax squared, 2x squared. In the bottom right, what are we going to put? 4, which is our C. Then your magic numbers, 1x and 8x. Because what do these add to equal? The middle term, 9x. You don't have to write that there. It just helps me double check that I did it correctly. All right, so we completed step 4. Step 5, factor the GCF for the columns and rows. We're going to look at this column, 2x squared and 1x. What do they both have? X. Nothing else. 2 and 1 don't have a common factor, except 1. So we're going to leave it. 8x and 4. What will divide both 8 and 4? 2, but we want the biggest. 4, exactly. Now we do the rows, 2x squared and 8x. What do they both have? X. Now look at your numbers, 2 and 8. What do they have in common? 2. So 2x. Yeah, that's where the 2x squared comes from. See how I multiply x times 2x? You get 2x squared. Now watch. And then 4 times 2x, you get 8x. So we need to find out what's going to go here to give us 1x. Yeah, just, no. It's just going to be 1. It's just 1 because they both don't have x. Yeah, 1 times 4 is 4. X times 1. So it's x plus 4 and 2x plus 1. If there's no operation or no negative, then it's automatically a positive. Okay, so these steps are going to help you as you work through these problems. And then looking back here will also help you. All right, so let's open up our green paper. We're going to do the top one. And I changed this one, by the way. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 1. So our steps say identify A, B, and C. What is A? 1. This gives me plenty of room, so I'm going to go ahead and write it out. B, 2. C. So in our x, in the top of our x, what do I multiply together? 1 and 1. A and C. 1 times 1 is 1. And the bottom is just b. So we put 2 on the bottom. So we need to find the magic numbers. Multiply to get 1, but add to get 2. Yeah, it's just 1 and 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so the next step is to write ax squared in the top left. Let's get c. C goes in the bottom right, which is 1. These are the magic numbers. What are our magic numbers? 1x and 1x. Oh, I should have put 2 here. Sorry. Hold on. No, that's right. Okay, I got confused for a sec. Sorry, guys. Got confused. Okay, so now we factor the columns x squared and 1x. Oh, yeah, 2x or something. You're right. And then 1x and 1, x squared and 1x, just an x, 1x and 1. And you can always double check it by looking at x is x squared. 1 times x is 1x. X times 1 is 1x. 1 times 1 is 1. So our factors are x plus 1 times x plus 1. You with me? Or how can I write this the same way but a shorter way? This means to the what power? Second power, yeah. So either one is correct. Yep, that'll work. All right, so I know there's a lot of steps, but you have steps to follow, so it's going to be helpful to look back at those. Now let's go to the next one. This isn't a trinomial, but could I write it as a trinomial? X squared plus, if there's nothing there, what number says nothing? 0x minus 6. So if you don't have a term with just the x, go ahead and put 0x. All right, so now we can write a is 1, b is 0, c is negative 16. Right? Yeah, because it's a minus 16. All right. So the top, a times c. A times c would be 1 times a negative 16. There we go. And b is the bottom. So we want to look for all the factors of negative 16 that gives us 0. So in your calculator, nope, can't use 0. Put this in. And then go to the table. So 1 and negative 16, that's not going to give me 0. 2 minus 8, that's going to give me negative 6. What about 4 minus 4? That gives me 0. Yeah. Those are our magic numbers. All right, so now let's fill in the box. It goes on the top, left. 4x and negative 4x, and that gives us a 0x. So, yeah, x. You could look at it like that. X times what? Mm-hmm. Negative 4x and negative 16x. If there's a negative on the first term, remember how we did that with GCF? If the negative is your first term, you're going to pull it out. So we're going to pull out a negative 4 on that. Not because they're both negative, but because the first one is negative. Okay, and then 4x minus 16 is just 4. You can always check back by multiplying x times x to get x squared. X times 4, 4x. Negative 4 times x, negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 4, negative 16. So it's x minus 4 times x plus 4. And we can't write that any simpler because they're not the exact same. The other one was the exact same thing. Okay, I want you to try this next one. Go ahead and do your x. Identify A, B, and C. I'm going to give you all some time to try it. Yeah. All right, so identify your A, B, and C. So on top is A times C. So that's 1 times 18. The bottom of the X is the B. The two numbers that multiply to get 18 and add to get 9, if you put it in your calculator, would be 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 plus 3 is 9. Then your box, top left is going to be your ax squared, which is just 16x. Bottom right is your c. Then your two diagonals are your magic numbers. And I did it on this, 6x and 3x. If you want to flip it, that's okay too. So I'm going to have both ways written for you so you can see it. If you've already done it and you did it this way, that's fine. If you did it this way. Then you factor the column x squared and 3x. They both have an x in common. There's no coefficient in front of this x squared. The only thing you can factor out is an x. Then 6x and 18. On this, we could factor a 6. They both don't have x's, so you can't factor out an x. Then you do the row, x squared and 6x. They only have an x in common. 3x and 18, they have a 3 in common. So it'd be x plus 6 times x plus 3. Or if you flip it, that's okay too. So see how I wrote it? These are the same problem. I just wrote it two different ways. Yeah. Okay, so I want you to do the next one. 6g squared minus 13g plus 6. Yes. So for the top of the box, you're gonna have to multiply 6 times 6. Because remember, it's a times c. And then b goes on the bottom, negative 13. AC. Because our instructions say AC goes on the top of that box. I'm going to show you right here. We did because A was 1, so that's why it's just C. But when A is not 1, that's whenever that top number changes. Because you are multiplying A times C. So if you want to put it in the calculator, 36 divided by X. We have a negative sum. So all these positives are not going to work. We're going to have to go to the negative side, the opposite side. So I got to go up and find the one that's going to give me negative 13. Yeah, negative 4 plus a negative 9. And I got those numbers from the table, -4 and -9. Okay, so now we need to do our box. Yep, 6g squared. Nope, it's these two. You're, oh, hold on. I'm not there yet. Because this gives us the -13g. All right, so we're going to factor the box. 6g squared and -4g. So look at both of these. They both have g, so a g can be factored out. 6 and -4. They're both evens. So 2 can be factored out, and that's the biggest number that will divide those evenly. You don't take out a negative unless the first one that's closest to where you're putting it is. So 6 and -4 just be a 2. Then we look at this, -9g and 6. Because the first term is negative, we're going to pull out a negative. So it's going to be a negative. Nope. We got to come up with a number that divides 9 and 6. -3. 9 and 6 are both multiples of 3, so that makes your GCF. And then we go to this next row. 6g squared, -9g. They both have g's. Let's go ahead and put a g there. We already did 9 and 6, right? What divides both of these evenly? 6 and -9? 3. Okay, and then we do this one. The first term is negative, so we have to pull out a negative. Yep, 4 and 6. So we've already done 4 and 6. -2. So our answer would be 2g minus 3 times 3g minus 2. So -3 times a -2 is a +6. We did that right. Right, exactly. If the two negatives multiplied together turned out to be a positive. Okay, so what I want y'all to do is these two. Actually, I want you to do this one. And this one. Do those two right now, and that'll be your homework.